Letting Go, Part 1. What keeps us from being truly happy? Have you ever wondered why certain memories, people, or things are so difficult to let go of? Why do we cling to past wounds, unfulfilled desires, or even material possessions, even when they no longer serve us? In Buddhism, this attachment is considered one of the main causes of suffering. Buddha taught that life is impermanent and constantly changing. Yet our minds strive to create permanence. We want to hold on to what was beautiful and avoid what is unpleasant. The result? Pain, anger, and inner turmoil. However, within this realization lies a liberating truth. Letting go does not mean becoming indifferent or giving up everything. Rather, it means freeing ourselves from the emotional weight that holds us back. It is about accepting the natural flow of life without desperately clinging to certain expectations or outcomes. In this first part of the audiobook, we will explore why letting go is so difficult and what attachments really are. In the second part, we will dive into practical steps to gradually release old wounds, anger, and unnecessary attachments, leading to a freer and more peaceful life. The link to the second part can be found at the end. Chapter 1. The Different Types of Attachment. Attachment is the root of suffering, as taught by Buddha. However, attachment manifests in many forms, often so subtly that we do not consciously recognize it. It can be directed toward people, material possessions, or even our self-image. In this chapter, we will explore how these attachments appear in our lives and why they ultimately prevent us from experiencing true freedom and inner peace. Attachment to people. Why emotional dependence causes suffering. One of the most common forms of attachment is emotional dependence on other people. Whether in relationships, friendships, or within the family, we often tend to tie our happiness to another person. I can't live without you. Without my boss's approval, I am worthless. My children must meet my expectations or I will be unhappy. This type of attachment leads to fear, jealousy, and suffering because we become dependent on something that is beyond our control. True love means respecting others without the need to possess them. The Buddhist practice of loving kindness, metta, teaches us to wish happiness for others without expectations or conditions. A healthy relationship is built on freedom, not dependency. Attachment to material things. Why possessions do not bring lasting happiness. Modern consumer culture leads us to believe that true happiness comes from possessions. A bigger house, the latest smartphone, more money. But as soon as we acquire one of these things, the next desire follows. Why does a new car no longer feel special after a few months? Why doesn't a full bank account bring lasting satisfaction? Why are we always searching for more? Buddhism teaches that true happiness does not depend on external things. The joy we derive from material possessions is fleeting. It fades, and we begin searching for the next fix. A more mindful approach to possessions can help reduce attachment. Practicing minimalism and gratitude for what we already have can increase contentment. Try going an entire week without buying anything unnecessary and observe how it makes you feel. Attachment to self-worth. How we identify with our ego. A less obvious but equally powerful form of attachment is our identification with the ego. We all have a certain image of ourselves that we try to protect and defend. I am a successful person, so I must not make mistakes. I am a good person, so I must not fail. I am always right. This type of attachment makes us fear criticism, compare ourselves to others, or even feel anger when our self-image is challenged. Buddha taught that the self is an illusion. Everything within us changes: our body, our thoughts, our emotions. Letting go of rigid ideas about who I am allows us to move through life with greater openness and flexibility. Practicing self-reflection and meditation can help us recognize our ego and gradually release our attachment to it. Example: a broken relationship. How attachment to the past hurts us. Imagine you have gone through a painful breakup. Your mind constantly replays memories, shared plans, and all the what-ifs that could have been. This attachment to the past keeps you trapped and prevents you from fully living in the present moment. Why didn't it work out? I will never find someone like that again. What could I have done differently? The truth is, the past cannot be changed. But as long as we cling to what was, we block ourselves from embracing what could be. Practice mindfulness by observing your thoughts without identifying with them. A helpful exercise is visualizing letting go. Imagine your memories as leaves floating down a river. They come, they go, but you do not hold on to them. Attachment is deeply ingrained in us, but it is not inevitable. By recognizing where we are clinging, whether to people, things, or our self-image, and consciously choosing to let go, we can create a life of greater freedom and peace. Chapter 2. Why is letting go so difficult? Letting go sounds simple, yet it is often one of the hardest challenges in life. Why is that? Why do we hold on to things, people, or even painful memories, even when they weigh us down? In Buddhism, our resistance to change is seen as a natural, yet painful characteristic of the human mind. We crave security, permanence, and control. But life is anything but static. It changes with every moment. The illusion of control. We want to control our lives, our relationships, and even the future. However, reality tells a different story. We do not have absolute control over what happens. People come and go, situations change, and plans fail. When we are unwilling to acknowledge this, every unexpected change leads to fear, anger, or disappointment. The emotional attachment to memories. Our past is a fundamental part of our identity. We cling to happy moments because we want to relive them, and we hold on to painful experiences because we struggle to accept them. However, the more we identify with these memories, the more they prevent us from truly living in the present moment. The fear of the unknown. Letting go often means embracing the unknown. A new phase in life, a different path, or a changed self-image can feel frightening. However, within this uncertainty lies an opportunity, the chance to grow and free ourselves from old limitations. Buddha's teachings show us that attachment intensifies suffering, yet there is a way to break these chains, a path leading to greater freedom and inner peace. Chapter 3. The Buddhist perspective on attachment and suffering. Buddhism teaches that attachment is the primary cause of our suffering. But what does it really mean to let go? Does it mean becoming indifferent, or even giving up everything? Quite the opposite. Letting go does not mean avoiding joy or relationships. It means not becoming dependent on them. The concept of impermanence. Anicca. One of Buddha's central teachings is the impermanence of all things. Everything that exists is in a constant state of change, whether it's our health, our relationships, or our thoughts. When we truly internalize this, we learn to hold on to things less tightly, as they are bound to pass away anyway. An example: Imagine holding a flower in your hand. You can admire it, enjoy its fragrance, but you also know that one day it will wither. If you accept that the flower won't last forever, you can appreciate it fully without fearing its loss. This is how everything in life works. The Four Noble Truths and letting go. In Buddhism, suffering dukkha is seen as an inherent part of human experience. However, it is not life itself that causes suffering. It is our attachment to things that change or are beyond our control. We suffer because we refuse to accept that everything is in flux. We expect other people to remain the same. We hope that external circumstances will determine our happiness. But true happiness comes from within. It arises from a mindset of letting go, acceptance, and inner freedom. Letting go is not a loss, but a liberation. Many people fear letting go because they believe they will lose something valuable. However, the opposite is true. Those who let go create space for something new. Letting go of a failed relationship opens the door to true love. Letting go of old fears allows you to walk new paths with courage. Letting go of the constant need for control enables you to experience life with more freedom and ease. Letting go does not mean giving up everything. It means freeing yourself from the fear of change. The first step to letting go. This brings us to the end of the first part of this audiobook on the art of letting go. We have come to understand that attachment manifests in many forms, whether to people, material things, or our own ideas of happiness. And we have seen how these attachments often unconsciously shape our lives and disrupt our inner balance. But understanding alone is not enough. Letting go is not a one-time act, but a process. It is a path we must walk step by step. In the second part of this audiobook, we will focus on how to actively learn to let go of burdensome thoughts, anger, and emotional dependencies. We will explore practical techniques that can help you cultivate a deeper sense of inner freedom. True serenity does not come from control, but from conscious letting go. If you are ready to continue this journey, listen to the second part. Here is the link. There, you will learn how mindfulness, forgiveness, and a new perspective can bring more peace into your life.